In the last 2 years, Louis Vuitton fragrances have gotten so much hype and they are constantly talked about. And it's not often that I make a clone war more than one time. Since I've made the last Imagination clone war, which is about a year and 2 months ago, about another 10 have spawned. Brands like Boo Jeremy, Mykonos, Velixer, all of these seem to have come out of nowhere, but quickly become people's favorites. And clones, a thing of the past that was extremely taboo, have become widely accepted, and even perfumers are making dupes, man. That's where we are. Today, I want to drop a disclaimer for a few things. Number one of the fragrances on this list has completely turned. I moved from America to Dubai, and in that move, there was a lot of climate changes that have in fact changed one or two of my experiences. Number two, I don't plan on making clone wars this big. And once a clone war is done, it's usually the line that we draw together. At the end of the day, the reason I'm making this clone war again is because realistically, the line that's drawn on this channel is the one that you guys draw. I got enough requests and enough people asked for this clone war. And lastly, fragrances develop, fragrances change, experiences change, and so do noses. Thank God I made enough short videos to kind of talk about this before this video dropped. And a few days before this video dropped, I picked up another bottle. Let's go ahead and get into the video. And make sure you stay to the end because you don't want to miss the end. I literally delayed my moving for this video. It's 10 p.m. These should be packed. I left them out for the Imagination clone war. It's time, you guys. And today we have the Extrait. We're gonna be doing it a little bit different because this was highly requested. There are so many Imagination clones that it's honestly ridiculous. I don't condone the behavior of collecting them all, and I have only collected them so that you can have a better understanding as to what's out there with honest wearings for every single fragrance. I took notes for every single fragrance, and we're gonna start with the first category, which is going to be quality, and we're gonna work into performance. We're also gonna work into how close it gets, and the official clone war winners in 3 different categories, one being the best value, one being the longest lasting, and lastly, the absolute closest one. Louis Vuitton's Imagination on its own is honestly, this grew on me. I did not like this whatsoever initially, and I remember thinking to myself, who wants to smell like a bar of soap? Over some time and wearing it and the way that it performed and projected and gave me compliments, it's something I fell absolutely in love with. What started as like a 6 out of 10 ended up being like a 9 to a 10 out of 10. Experiences absolutely do matter, and there's a lot of fragrances that my father wore that I thought smelled really bad that today is nostalgic and is worth more than money, to be honest. And this is a similar experience. Now, the reason I hate doing so many different clones for one fragrance is because by the end of wearing them, I honestly get drained the fudge out of wearing all these Imagination dupes. It gets freaking crazy. I will say this, disclaimer for this fragrance, there is not a single clone that gets this exactly the same. There is not a single clone that will scratch that full-on itch that I personally have for Imagination. Now, with that out of the way, there are still amazing options. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Soapy, fresh. This lasts damn near the entire day, at least a solid 8 hours, compliment worthy, and you could wear it as a signature scent. So that's gonna follow suit for all of the other fragrances on this list. Moving into the first category, quality. Starting off with Art of Arabia 1. This is one of the earliest ones that came out, and honestly, it smells like it. It's definitely not the best quality. The opening right from the top, you're gonna smell an alcohol blast, and it smells like it has a lot more synthetics and citruses. If you're looking for the closest one in terms of the quality, this is absolutely not it, but it's not bad. Remember, 5 is neutral. Anything above that is better than neutral, and I give this like a 6.5. The real reason as to why it doesn't smell as higher quality is obviously 1, the price point limitations, and number 2 is later on in the dry down of the fragrance, it doesn't seem to capture that same richness or warmth that you'll get from the Olibanum. Reference point being this out of 10 out of 10, you really can't really give it much more than about a 6, 6.5. Moving into the next one, this is Essence de Blanc. I've had this, and this in itself makes me realize that I need to make fragrance videos about fragrances I used to love and how they stand the test of time. This, the quality, I don't know what the frick happened because it's actually a little bit worse. This was like a 6.25 or 6.5. This is a 5 now. I don't know what happened. Maybe it could be because, you know, I was traveling and storing bottles differently, but still, it's definitely a 5. Sanaya by Junaid Perfumes. The quality of this is nothing outstanding. There's a lot less fragrance than I smell in even something like Art of Arabia 1, but it does really do well with like the Olibanums, the mid and dry down. I'd give this a solid 7. They're a niche house that occasionally does some dupes. Now, for Al Haramain's Amber Oud Aqua Dubai, another one that has changed over time. And no matter what I've tried to do, how many times I've tried to wear it, it smells like cheap granny soap. If you like granny soap, it does it pretty well. So let's give it a 6.5 because it honestly doesn't smell like it's like just cheap shit. It smells just like granny soap. It does a really bad job at the DNA. Quality of the granny soap is pretty good. You get the point. Asasi's Cobra. The quality is good, but there's a lot of synthetics in this. The ambroxan doesn't necessarily mean that it's cheap, but it does smell like it's a lot more synthetic and therefore a drop in the quality. Also, it still does smell better quality than something like Art Arabia 1. And so for that, I'd give it like a 7. It's a little bit closer to something like Imagination, just in terms of the quality. This, super requested, is from the brand Hirsch, and it's called 2, or Hirsch 2. The quality of this is just not it, man. Honestly, I'd place it right in the same vein as Art of Arabia 1. This is going to be a 6.5, especially when comparing it with the original Imagination. This just has so much more naturals to my nose. I mean, and even when it starts to dry down, those citruses remain. Tea is not overpowering. The olibanum is not something that's rich and plasticky. It's rich and naturalistic smelling. So, keeping it real, let's move on. One of the more expensive ones is called Game of Spades Full House. This is another one that I've had for quite some time. And honestly, again, this is like a 6.75. It's nothing more than that. I was a little disappointed because this is one of the more expensive ones. So from a value perspective, it's not the best thing in the world, especially when you smell it in comparison to ones that are a little bit richer. In terms of its richness, it's, believe it or not as rich as this, but it does smell a little bit cleaner. Basically, what that means is you can smell a little bit more of a concentrated. It smells like it's stronger in the fragrance, but it does smell cleaner. You know, you win some and you lose some. This is definitely not the case of the best quality ones when it comes to this category. I'm gonna give this a score of a 6. Nothing more, nothing less. Moving on. This is what a lot of people wanna see. Mykonos Inception. Look, I think that because of the fact that it's more concentrated, it's richer, it definitely outshines both of these. I don't necessarily think that it outshines the quality of this, but it's pretty damn close. So I think it's safe to say that this is a quality of about 7. Pretty solid. Now moving into Marwa. The original Marwa in the opening, there is a little bit of that citrus, slightly alcoholic blast, but shortly after, within 2 minutes, it starts to settle down. To my nose, it's one of the higher quality ones. It's definitely a little bit lighter, and we'll get to the performance portion, but it absolutely stands in a better category in terms of quality. I still don't think, when actually wearing them side by side, that it was too far ahead of the Mykonos Inception. And I think it's mostly because when you spray this on, you get the mid to dry down. You completely skip, to my nose, a lot of the citruses that you still find in this. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is that much better quality, honestly. But what I will say is that it may be a closer inspo because of the top. So if we're being fair, the quality is right there. It's about a 7. I wanted to give it a little bit of an edge, but it's a 7. We're gonna place it at an even level playing field. Now for one of the most hype beast brand, Bouger baby. A lot of people love going to events, feeling special, and it makes the fragrances look also a little bit special. Now, I'm not gonna say that that's not the case for a lot of their fragrances, but when it comes to hectic, it opens up with something that's tarry, a lot richer in the olibanum. This, in the opening, it's still better than the Latafa, but real talk, you guys, it's not better than either of these. And so for that reason, I'm gonna place it at a 6.75, and that's it. In the opening, I cannot help but get this tarry freaking blast. And after that tar dries down, it kind of smells like a synthetic lemon head instead of what you're supposed to get, which is lemons and bergamot, really. All right, this is getting ridiculous, but this is what people want to see, man. There's so many damn clones. Now, this one was from a brand that one of my friends got me on, Montaigne, and I know a lot of people ask for it, but truth be told, the longer this sits, the worse that it gets. This quality is about a 6. I mean, it's not that close. The quality is not that good. It may be an in-house brand. I get it. It's cool. Power, for sure. But the quality is just not there. And look, I wanna make it very clear. This isn't a dig, this isn't a shot at anybody, and this isn't like, I'm right, you're wrong type of thing. This is from a perspective of creating fragrances, owning all these fragrances, deciphering this fragrance, wearing it a shit ton, and also having the background knowledge and experience in the industry. It's just not it. Next one is French Tobacco by Ibrahim Al-Qurashi. That same tar that I get in Hectic, I get it in this. And it's more than likely because of the ambroxan and a lot of that olibanum mixed with some of those spices from the cinnamon. You can pinpoint it like crazy. It's just super tarry, you get that blast, and it turns me off right from the beginning. So to stay true to the quality, this does seem better quality than the Latafa for sure. I'd give it a 6.7, nothing more than that. You have to understand, you guys, this is expensive for a reason. And I call it like it is. I'm a Clone War maker, right? Like if I wasn't, who's gonna keep it real otherwise, right? The quality of this is next level. It's expensive for multiple reasons, but one of them being the raw materials that's used in it. Last but not least, the brand new Marwa Extrait. Okay, the quality for this is pretty damn good. Although I will say that I do get that richness that you'll find in something like French tobacco, but it doesn't go tarry. And what it smells like is just a very thick neroli. And honestly, I like it. But how close does it get? We'll get there later. The quality of this, it's a no-brainer, bro. This is a 7.75. One of the highest qualities. Obviously, you guys, they're not skimping on price tag. It's probably gonna cost more because they're trying to give you more. Remember, this is their second take. If it didn't come up from their first take, there would be a serious problem, and that's not the case with this. Hold your horses. We haven't gotten to who's close. We haven't gotten to the longest lasting, so there's still opportunities for many of these to last. I don't like making this many because it just takes way too long, but let this be the end all for imagination. There are so many brands that are marketing, that are doing so many deceiving tactics and stuff, so this is the one that's going to just clear it all up and just let you know which one's best for whatever you're looking for. Moving into the next category, which is going to be performance. Starting with Art of Arabia 1, this is a 5-hour performing fragrance. If you're looking for beast mode, you're not gonna get it. If you're looking for fresh, nice, and giving you maybe about a workout a little bit, this is a good one to go with. Essence de Blanc. When it comes to performance, it lasts a good 6.5 to 7 hours, unfortunately, because it's turned. When it comes to Sanaya, I've never gotten less than 7 to 8 hours. When it comes to Al Haramain Amber Oud, this gives me 6 to 7 hours, nothing more. When it comes to Cobra, believe it or not, this did not give me more than 6.5, let's just put it at 7 hours. When it comes to Hirsch, this was like water. It's a 3 hours. When it comes to Full House, also 3 hours. When it comes to Mykonos Inception, surprisingly, 7 to 8 hours. Solid, and I can smell it most of the time. When it comes to Marwa, honestly, I am disappointed. I paid a lot more attention to wearing this time, and I got a solid 6 hours. But sometimes I noticed that I wouldn't wait for the entire spray, and that's not the whole thing. And so I think that their focus on the atomizer really shoots them in the foot, but I'm not gonna give it more than 6. When it comes to Hectic, I get a lot of performance from this. It's a 7 to 8 hours, but it's not always the best thing. When it comes to Imaginary, this is another one that's about 6 to 7 hours. When it comes to French Tobacco, this is a solid 8 hours. And lastly, Marwa Extrait. It's only 8 hours, and this is a fresh one. Maybe it'll get better as it ages, but it's 8 hours on skin. We talked about longevity. Let's talk about projection, and I'm just going to give it to you like this. Skin scent, arm's reach, nuclear. Here we go. Arm's reach, nuclear, unfortunately. Arm's reach, arm's reach, arm's reach, skin scent, arm's reach, arm's reach. Really good sillage. Arm's reach, pretty good in the sillage. Leaves a sillage, a little bit of a skin scent. Arm's reach, a little bit more. Maybe arm's reach, but close to skin scent. And that's it for performance. I was expecting this to be nuclear. I really was. Now, it's important to note, this is a fresh sample. And now for the category we've mostly been waiting for. How close do each of these get in a percentage? Art of Arabia 1, 65%. Synthetic, a lot more citruses. It doesn't get the amber and the tea and the thick floral soapy neroli. It's not it. Essence de Blanc, 50% max. It still has a naturalistic tea, but holy smokes, I get a fish vibe. That's it. Sanaya, no more than 75%. It has the tea, it has the ambers, but again, doesn't have the same citruses. It almost completely skips the top. Aqua Dubai, this got worse. It's 65%. The Granny Snope in this, it's just not it. It doesn't even smell like neroli. It smells more like Lily of the Valley soap. Rasasi Cobra, 80%. This has the same citruses, but there's a dry wood you don't get from this, and it's most likely the ambroxan. Helps with its performance and projection, but it doesn't help with how close it gets. It's drier. Hirsch 2, this is like a 65%. It's just too weak. The musk smells cheap also. Full House, this is no more than a 75 to 80% also because it just smells extremely watered down. Doesn't have the same depth or the richness in the soapy vibes, nor in the amber. It honestly just smells like a watered down version. Mykonos Inception, so surprised, 85%. It definitely gets closer, skips a little bit of the top that you'll get with the Imagination, but everything else seems to be there, just at a cheaper level. Arabiyat Marwa, also 85. The one thing that makes this one slightly closer, but then lose its edge is the fact that you have the citruses at the top, but the opening, it does have that alcoholic blast in the opening. It's shortly lived. I don't really sniff right away, but when I did, I could absolutely sense it. So its downfalls, although it had a little bit more of the proportions to the fragrance, ended up being the alcoholic blast, taking it away from how close it is. Also, as it dries down, it seems to be a more soapier version of the imagination. When it comes to hectic, this is no more than 75%. That opening, sorry guys, it has more amber, more cinnamon, and more of that neroli vibe that comes off a little bit too much like tar. Imaginary. This is no more than 70%. There's just a lot in this that smells cheap, and honestly, bro, I would even give it less than that. 60%, it's not it. French tobacco. This surprisingly smells close to something like Bou Jeremy's Hectic, 75%. And lastly, Marwa Extrait. This is less than both of these. It's 80%. Its richness really does make that soapy vibe even more, the resins even more, and it also doesn't open up with as much citrus, but it does have a bit more of the thickness and borderline giving me qualities of what these open up as. Still, it smells more expensive and higher quality than both of these. You might be noticing that the lighting is a little bit different. Well, lost the audio, but here we are. Let's wrap the video up. In terms of quality, we have a very clear-cut winner. Marwa Extrait wins. It's the newest one. It's probably the most expensive one. It makes sense. In terms of performance, this one was a little bit surprising. Marwa Extrait and also French tobacco. If you're looking for longevity and long lasting, those two were clearly the winner, but close runner-ups, especially with Mykonos. Now, for in terms of closeness, and I think this is where most people really care. And in the past, this is where the official Clone War winner used to be. But now I've decided to give you a little bit more value to understanding which one is more valid for you. So here we go. It's definitely Mykonos and Marwa, and I am so shocked, okay? Now, Marwa, what it does bad and what it does good. It does bad, the alcoholic opening. What it does good is it captures the top, the mid, and the dry down, but it also is a little soapier. Mykonos, what it does bad is really giving you the top, the opening of the fragrance, but it does the mid and the dry down pretty consistently throughout the rest of the fragrance. And now for the best overall, tallying up all the scores, we're talking about performance, we're talking about how close, and also in quality. Coming in first place is gonna be Marwa Extrait. Coming in second place is gonna be Mykonos Inception. And coming in third place, believe it or not, is French tobacco. The sheer performance and quantity of juice you guys get is just next level. I hope this video helped you guys in deciding which fragrance is right for you. And by the end of this video, I stayed true to my promise of giving you guys every category depending on what you're looking and focused on the most in terms of which one is the best. Whether you're looking for the closest, the longest lasting, or the highest quality one, this video lays it all out, giving you a score system that hopefully was easy to follow through. Congratulations on making it to the end of the video. Most people would have probably just double tapped or had it on 2x speed. There's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like I already talk in 2x speed. Instead of remaking the entire Clone War, we're gonna be rescoring and re-ranking Sans de Blanc based off of a brand new bottle that I bought 5 days ago and I've been wearing ever since to test it for its performance, etc. I kind of regret not thinking about picking it up myself, and it was a few comments that realized that, yeah, maybe it did turn. Maybe you should buy another one, but anyways, I'm human. Here we go. Right off the top, man, this smells premium, giving the quality score of a 6.75. That opening quality of the Cask Cologne specifically, I only find in Imagination and in this, in the opening. Let's continue on with the performance. This is a fragrance that consistently gave me anywhere from, I would say, about 6.5 to 8 hours. On clothing, a little bit longer, but I'm gonna give it a solid 7 hours. And now, how close is it? Remember, we have seen so many Imagination clones come and go, and just when you think the bar has been set up pretty high, another dupe comes and it just seems a little bit better. But in the case of this, it's still really one of the best ones. I would give this solid score of 8.25 and 82.5%. And the one thing that I'll never forget about wearing this one in comparison to a lot of them is the opening of that Cask Cologne, but also the green vibe, man. This has one of the most accurate tea notes, except as it dries down, it doesn't balance with the same level of those florals that give it the soapy vibe from Imagination. So the first 20 minutes, I feel like I'm wearing Imagination. And in the world of not many Imagination dupes, this is one of the top ones. And honestly, as it develops, the green vibe sticks around without the floral notes really turning into something that encapsulates it. I still think it's respectably close, a lot closer than something like Hirsch 2 and even Game of Spades, and that's still consistent. Although there are other fragrances like Marwa, which I think is a soapier version overall and might not be closer in the opening, it's a pretty consistent fragrance that doesn't veer off later in the dry down. Opening, one of the best. Mid to dry down, that's where it starts to drop the cake or the ball. Placing this with a final score of 21.75. 5. And as of today, not a Clone War winner. Since the birth of the Clone Wars, it has changed tremendously. If you notice, I put a lot of effort into every wearing, into every scoring system. Hell, we never even had a scoring system. None of this existed. And just like the development of the Clone War, so have I. A year ago today, I wasn't smelling raw and natural materials. I wasn't in France or even had the connections to go to these factories and smell raw tonka bean. And I'm so blessed to have had that opportunity. I'm so blessed to have seen the Clone Wars really develop, my nose develop, and give you guys more accurate, more authentic reviews. This doesn't take credit away from this, but in fact, what you'll see with the scoring system is that it comes down to an overall values perspective. If we just went through the Clone Wars like we used to, where it was just percentage of closeness, this would still be up there as one of the better ones, and it would actually beat French tobacco. But an overall score is now how we're scoring the Clone Wars, because at the end of the day, I want to empower you guys into knowing which is the best in every category and the overall value. And so I hope you guys gained and learned that from here today. You can now know which is the closest, which is the strongest, and like I said, in quality. So do fragrances go bad? 100%. Do tastes change? Absolutely, but it wasn't about taste. It was 100% the facts, and the fact is that a lot have come out since, and some in different categories may do it better. It was really important for me to remake this portion, or at least to tell you guys this, because you guys matter to me. And when I read the comment section and people talking about, well, you should probably just pick it up and see if yours went bad, I take it to heart and I take it very seriously, like I do this series. There was even some comments talking about, oh, it's a French Avenue, he might not be paying him anymore. I mean, dude, like AROMATIX with French Avenue. So, nah, bro, I'm just dedicated. I'm committed to giving you guys the truth, the best truth, and the most truth. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. My name's Neeb. Love you. And I'll see you in the next one.